Hey up guys! So today's movie I'm discussing on the channel is the latest film from director Ben Affleck called Air. Honestly, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I was like, okay, it's a story about a shoe. Okay. Yeah, long story short, I wasn't that excited for it. It was like, of all the stories that Ben Affleck could adapt to the big screen, he went with this. The story and the trailer itself seemed a bit generic, conventional, flat, and dare I say, basic. Yeah, I wasn't particularly inspired by the trailer. But you know what? I had a really good time watching Air. Yes, the story is very simple. Is it reinventing the wheel for cinematic storytelling? God no, but there's a reason why we go back to the wheel, because it's a simple idea, well executed, and it works. And that's what we get with Air. It is the wheel, it's the conventional wheel of film storytelling, but it's well done. Like, it rolls nice and easily, it's reliable, it's safe, it's familiar, yeah, it works. It just works as a film. It's not a game changer in any way, but it's reliable, it's sturdy, and, you know, it's the wheel. What I'm trying to say in all that waffle is it's fine to tell a simple story as long as it's told well, and Air does just that. The story is set in 1984 America and is centered around Sonny Vaccaro, who's played by Matt Damon, who works for Nike. Nike, believe it or not, weren't always the powerhouse sports brand that we know today. Back in the mid-80s, they were struggling with sales and company growth. They weren't actually seen as all that cool back in the day, and they had real difficulty securing megastar athletes to be ambassadors for Nike. And it was Sonny's job to advise the people at Nike as to which athletes they should be going after for sponsorship. Sonny has the budget to acquire 3 mid-sized fish, but he sets his eyes on one big fish, and that big fish is Michael Jordan. But he's having to hit with other heavy hitters like Converse and Adidas, or as they say in this film, Adidas. Have I been saying it wrong all this year? Is it Adidas or Adidas? But on top of all of that, the man himself, Michael Jordan, wasn't even a fan of the Nike brand back in the day. He didn't want to take the meeting with the Nike people in the first place. It seems weird for me to label Nike as an underdog, but that's kind of what they are in this film. But yeah, anybody that lives in the Western Hemisphere has probably heard of Air Jordans or even seen a pair, or will recognize the logo of Michael Jordan, stretching out midair. So yeah, we all know the outcome going into this movie, but did that detract from the enjoyment factor of them closing the deal with Michael Jordan? Not at all. Yes, it's a pretty safe, conventional story. There's nothing gritty about this film whatsoever. But I thought that Air was well-paced, well-written. It was surprisingly funny, more so than I expected it to be. But it was also well-acted and well-directed by Ben Affleck. It's not my favorite film of his by any means. I do prefer Argo and The Town. But for a film that is mostly just characters talking to one another, I found it very entertaining. I gotta give a shout out to the screenwriter, Alex Convery. This is his first feature film screenplay debut, and he's written a very punchy, very gripping script. Granted, it is a little bit schmaltzy in places, but it's that kind of schmaltz you expect in one of those inspiring, uplifting, feel-good sports drama movies. You kind of expect a little bit of that. I also found myself laughing a lot more than I thought I would. There's a very heated phone call scene between Matt Damon and Chris Messina's David Falk character. He was Michael Jordan's agent. And I found this scene hysterical. And while we do know what the eventual outcome of the main plot is going to be, Alex Convery still does do a good job of giving the audience enough facts that they probably didn't know about before they came into the film. Yes, we all know that, Michael Jordan signed with Nike and, made Air Jordans, but there's lots of fun little facts about, Nike and Adidas. Still sounds weird to me saying Adidas, sorry, and Converse. I was still learning stuff as I was being entertained, which was quite cool. Such as what the term Adidas can be interpreted as an acronym for. I won't say it here, it was a nice little surprise in the movie, but I was like, is that what it means? I had to Google that afterwards. As well as what percentage of an athlete's shoes had to be white if they were going to play in the NBA leagues. I didn't know that, and I thought that was quite interesting. Or even where the famous "Just Do It" slogan from Nike supposedly came from. At times, some of these fun facts did feel a bit like, nuggets of trivia that didn't really add much to the story. As a viewer, I did find some of these informative facts quite amusing. The performances all around were great. Everyone understood the assignment and understood the tone of the film. I wouldn't say anybody here is giving like an Oscar caliber performance, even though Matt Damon does get one very emotional monologue-y speech towards the end of the film. That was his moment. Viola Davis shines in a small part as Michael Jordan's mother, Dolores. She brings a warmth and a gentle gravitas to the role. Like, it could have been a role that's just easily forgotten about, but yeah, Viola Davis does a lot with very little, but that's what we've come to expect with Viola. She just brings it. To me, the standout was probably Chris Messina as David Falk. That's probably because he's giving the biggest and most reactive performance of the ensemble, but he did make me laugh out loud quite a lot. As for Ben Affleck, when it comes to his performance, he plays CEO of Nike Film Night, and it's a perfectly fine performance, but really it's Affleck's direction that needs praise, because he just seems to be very confident now as a storyteller. I will say there were a few shots here or there that did seem a little bit out of focus, which I noticed, but generally, it just feels like he's very relaxed, and it's fitting that this is kind of a sportsy movie. It's not really a sports movie. It's a movie about a shoe, which happens to be around a sport and an athlete. But yeah, it's not really a sports movie, but it has the feel of a sports drama, And it's fitting that it is that type of genre because, it's about the team, and you can tell that he felt very confident and he trusted the players that he had with him, with Matt Damon and Chris Messina, Viola Davis, his screenwriter as well. He's got a strong team there, and he just trusts that everyone gets it and will deliver and is reliable. It's a really just well done movie. Like, he just feels very at ease as a director now. Just to cover my arse, shall we just quickly talk about its Oscars chances? Because Air weirdly does feel like an Oscars movie. It's strange that they decided to release it after the Oscars, because it's gonna have to try and maintain relevancy for a year, and I'm not sure it's gonna have the passionate fan base of Everything Everywhere to maintain that kind of relevancy for a year. It is, one of those inspiring feel-good movies that you can see the Academy going for, Hidden Figures or Coda, but yeah, it's just come out so damn early. But what would it be nominated for? I don't think any of the performances are really Oscar-y to me. Could it maybe get a screenplay nomination? Not impossible. It does kind of have that dad-tastic vibe of, Ford v Ferrari, and that's not just because Matt Damon's in it, but because, yeah, it's a very dad-friendly film, like Ford v Ferrari or Top Gun Maverick, and you can just see a lot of people liking this film. So, yeah, it could be a Best Picture-y film. I might discuss it in my Best Picture predictions. I'm not going to put it in my top 10 at the moment, but it might come up in discussion in my predictions when we see how it does over the next, 12 months. We'll wait and see, shall we? What about you guys? Do you think Air might get some Oscar nominations? If you do, what categories? Let me know. So let's ask the 3 questions. Firstly, would I watch it again? Yes, absolutely. It was a very pleasant, easy viewing, feel-good movie, which I could happily watch again. I might even add it to the collection. It was that good. Seriously. Question 2, do I recommend it for you guys? It's such an easy film for me to review to pretty much everybody because it is a safe but crowd-pleasing film. It's not a film that's pushing boundaries or taking risks, which is actually kind of ironic because the film is kind of about that. It's about taking risks. But it's a familiar tale that's executed in an enjoyable manner. And I think most people would enjoy it. Like I said, it's dad-tastic, okay? If you want to take your dad to see something at the cinema, take him to see this, okay? It's full of 80s bangers, proper dad carpool karaoke songs. Take your dad, you're guaranteed to both enjoy it. I also think it's funny that this is a dad-tastic film, which is all about shoes. But yeah, long story short, I highly recommend it. And third question, what score to give it out of 10? It is a little by the numbers story-wise. It is very safe and generic. and it's a little corny in places as well, but I like me some corn, you know, when it's done properly. I left the cinema feeling all warm and fuzzy, and I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed this film. So I'm gonna give Air a score of 8.5 out of 10. But as always, guys, just one bloke's opinion. I do want to hear from you. Have you seen Air? If you have, what did you make of it? Do you say Adidas or Adidas? Let me know in the comment section down below. For more movie, TV, and Oscars related content, don't forget to click subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for watching, guys, for all things related to movies, TV, the Oscars, and popcorn culture. I'm Luke Hearchrisfield, and I'll see you next time.